Welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's the founder of Wine Likes, WSET2 certified wine educator and hospitality professor, inspiring the next generation of wine lovers one swill at a time. No other than Mr. Jeff Gillis.
Hello, thank you for having me, Danielle.
Welcome on
Thank
Book
you.
101. Yes, and can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Of course, like you said, I am the founder of the Wine Likes app. So basically, I used to be a former food and beverage director for famous hotels in California. And I think, like everyone, during the COVID, they wanted to start their own business or try to start their own business. And as you mentioned before, I am also a certified SOM. So I felt me and my friends to get together. We would drink a lot of wine virtually. And I'm like, how can we bring it to more people? And if you know anything about wine apps, it's just about selling wine. But how can you make that connection? And how can you make an authentic connection with someone across the world? Because wine, like a book, tells a story. Every wine bottle has a story. So with that, we started being like, well, why don't we play some games? Because everyone back then was playing games online. And so why don't we start a wine app where you can play games? So right now we have a few games on the app. For example, there's fun quizzes and trivia. We have especially with reading, people like words. So if you've heard of Wordle, we have Windle. So we have wine vocabulary that you can guess on there. And we also have game called Regions, which where you can color wine maps and other fun wine designs like glasses of wine you can color. And then we have Wine Likes Bingo, where we actually go on a treasure hunt to find certain wines, and you can actually win money on the app. So that's a little bit about Wine Likes. And like I said, I'm a former food and beverage director, and I fell in love with wine, and now I'm trying to make it a business.
Mr. Jeff Gillis, thank you so much for sharing your
Thank you.
knowledge and wisdom to the world. And today, let's talk about interact authentically and how
Yeah.
authenticity shapes relationships, leadership, and well being. Berkeley Executive Ed described authenticity as a remaining true of your core values despite of external pressures. How do you personally define authentic interaction, and what does being true to your values look like in a conversation?
I think being authentic, first of all, is especially important these days with the invention of AI. Anyone can type in a conversation prompt and then use it. And that's where I am proud to say that my app does not have any AI involved. It's all user based. So where I'm authentic is always being honest with yourself and with other people. And that's the true in my classroom setting. I know we didn't touch upon this, but I do teach at a culinary school. I teach hospitality and wine classes. So always being honest with my students and also making sure they're authentic and honest as well, and not and doing projects in class, participating, and especially that there is no wrong answer, and always ask questions because no one is perfect. So I think that speaks to being authentic.
Mr. Jeff, how authentic your wine are?
Well, technically, it has to be because you can't. I guess grapes aren't grown in a lab. They're grown in earth with the soil, the sun, and everything. So they're very authentic. And what's great about it is each wine varietal is different. So where every grape tells a story, or every grape is different, whereas you may try a wine that you may like, and I may try the same wine and I don't like it, because the biggest thing that is authentic is your palate, correct? So,
Yes.
your taste buds and everything, everyone is different. So that's where I say, if um, when you first try a wine, you're not going to like it. It's kind of like with books. Don't judge a book by its cover. Your mouth still has to get used to the wine, the alcohol, and everything. So always taste wine on your second sip, and that's your mouth is already getting used to that as well. So always go off your second sip.
Wow, interesting wine, Mr. Jeff. Authentic people bring their whole selves to work and relationships, speak their minds, take responsibility, and keep
Mhm.
promises. Which of these practices have been most transformative for you building trust with others?
I think passion. I think when I sit in or stand, I should say, in a classroom and lecture to my students, they can see the passion I bring, whether I'm talking about hospitality. For example, the course I'm teaching right now is restaurant operations. And I've taught hospitality supervision, and I'm excited for restaurant operations because I've actually operated restaurants. And the same with wine, is when I talk about wine, is do something you love, and that is very authentic. Don't just be, I guess, a button pusher or do something you don't like, because you're not going to enjoy it.
Authentic indeed. We have a deep need to belong. So
We do.
yes, sometimes. So we sometimes suppress our true thoughts to conform. How do you navigate the tension between fitting in and staying genuine?
That's a very interesting question, because for my wine business myself, is I have to kind of feed into the trends. I may not agree with the trends, as well as, if I don't like a wine, but I'm posting about a wine and I'm trying to gain that wine business and stuff, I might have to be like, oh, it was okay, and use different adjectives. So I think with that, it is a fine line, but where I say always be honest and passionate is just be as descriptive and forthright as possible without hurting someone's feelings.
Hmm. Very well said, Mr. Jeff. Beautifully articulated.
Thank you.
Research suggests that living authentically increase dedication, depends
Mhm.
relationships, boosts self-confidence, and enhance leadership influence and supports mental health. Which of these benefits have you experienced and how do they impacted your career or personal life?
Yeah, I think with that, that goes along with the passion and finding someone and being authentic, is being honest, whether that is in a relationship with a significant other. You never want to lie, or where we just talked about conforming your answers, you're not going to be happy in the long run, and you're going to probably with mental health fall into a little depression, because you're hiding your true self. So I would say being authentic is being true to yourself and telling someone um, how you feel, whether that's in a relationship or work or love relationship. So if you're upset with your boss, maybe they came up with an idea that they think is fantastic, and you go back and examine it and you're like, no, it's not really working. Don't just lie to them. Go back to them and go, look, we tried it your way, I suggest this. Or in a love relationship, I think, I am I'm divorced, and now I'm happily remarried. And the second time I was authentic with myself, and made a promise to myself that for my mental health, I am going to find someone who brings the best out of me. to bring my passions, my authenticity, but I'm going to be honest with them. So I think that it's all full circle. When you're authentic, it improves mental health, it improves your passion, improves your life overall.
Authentic connections are built on truth and allow each person to express their genuine self. Can you share an example of a relationship that grew stronger once you both dropped your mask?
Um, it's funny you say that because the Wine Likes app started, we wanted to start it like a dating app where, hey, you like this wine, like you like Pinot Noir, I like Pinot Noir, let's match. And I felt that it wouldn't take us far. And I think that's true in relationships, love relationships, is that you always have to be honest with yourself and work on yourself. And if the other partner is working on themselves, two, you come together and form a beautiful, obviously, relationship or authenticity and trust and passion in life. So I think where like going back is just being honest with yourself and always you can always work on relationships, but the biggest relationship you need to work on is with yourself.
Mr. Jeff, pretending to be someone else requires mental effort and can generate anxiety, while embracing authenticity reduce this stress. Have you felt relief or freedom after choosing to be more transparent in a certain situations?
I mean, think, yeah, I have. And, it goes back to, so I have children. It goes back to teaching everyone or teaching your children honesty is the best policy. And so making sure that you're transparent. And I feel like I have younger kids and I'm always honest with them. My parents weren't always honest with me or hiding stuff from me where I want to show my kids that I'm an open book. They should be an open book, even if some people take advantage of that, but just being completely transparent and, you want to be a parent, but I feel like you also should be a friend so they can always come to you and not be scared of you.
Not to be scared, for sure. Authenticity nurtures a sense of belonging and invites personal growth by encouraging feedback and adaptation. How have honest interactions help you learn and evolve?
Um, yeah, I think, you have to take criticism well. For example, I started a wine business, I started an app, and it's not always peachy, and it's not always, I should say, fun. And I'm not an expert, nobody's perfect. So I think the two things you need is you have to admit that you're not perfect, and you should surround yourself with people to help you, but you should also, those people to help you, you should be able to take criticism well and go, okay, my opinion isn't the right opinion. Someone else has this point of view, and that is important because, for example, I started a business where the app is available in 173 countries, but when I post on the app or do a certain game, it might offend someone the wrong way. So I have to make sure. So put the right people in place and learn from any mistakes, but also understand that people in different areas know more than you do. Nobody's an expert.
Nobody is an expert, for sure. And Mr. Jeff, as a founder and a certified plus professor, what are your short term and long term goals?
Sure. I mean, in business, I think everyone's short term or long term is to succeed. But not only do I want to succeed, I want to change the way we view wine. For example, A wine usually is marked by a special occasion, but it should be marked by it's an everyday occasion and marked by, celebrating life. As we know, life on this earth is very short. So I feel like you should enjoy it every day. And whether that's a success, whether you have a dream, and my dream was to start my own wine business. And so I started a wine tech business. And that's my short term goal and my long term goal. I mean, my short term goal was just to gain users and get people to know the app. In life, in general, I, I fell into teaching late in life. This is my second year of teaching, and I truly love my short term or goal is to have my students walk out of every classroom saying, "Oh, I learned something new." My long term goal is hopefully I set them up for something successful, and they remember my teachings when they're starting their own hospitality business or whatnot.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Jeff, and looking
Thank you.
forward for more success. And what would
Thank
be
you.
your piece of advice for those people out there want to be like you?
Um, Explore your dreams. That's what I did. Every dream, and we mentioned goals, are reachable if you want to make it reachable. Don't be discouraged. Follow your passion, be authentic with yourself. And if you think you have an idea, and it might be a very stupid idea, but it's not, follow it and see if you can make it succeed.
Yes, thank you for that advice, Mr. Jeff. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Yeah, it's funny because, like I said, I have kids and all of that. So I did have my favorite book is called The Donut Chef. And I actually, tomorrow, I teach my first class this semester, and I will be reading this book. I always read this book, and it's funny because it's a kid's book, but I think it really explains business so well about how you have to create something that the public wants or someone wants. It talks a little about customer service. This kid wants a certain donut, and the chef first says no, and then realizes, oh, wait, if they want this donut, other people will want this donut and follow in sales. And then it talks about what happens when there's another donut shop on the same block with the same donuts and how to compete with that. So this book has brought my family and myself and my students a lot of joy. So I always suggest The Donut Chef.
The Donut Chef, indeed. Thank you for that
Thank you.
recommended book, Mr. Jeff. And Berkeley advises that starting small, bringing more for your authentic self into different environments, speaking your mind and allowing curiosity. With the smallest steps do you recommend for someone struggling to be authentic?
First of all, that is a very good point. So to go back on, so tomorrow I start teaching again and restaurant operations. And the thing I'm teaching tomorrow is you don't need a big restaurant. You should start small.
Hmm.
You know, if you don't have all of the money in the world, so you can't compete with a big chain like a McDonald's or a Cheesecake Factory. You don't need 1,000 seat restaurant. Start small with, okay, I'll start with a food truck to make sure my food is great. People like my food, then I'll transfer it into a small restaurant with 20, 30 seats and just open for dinner. Then I can open for lunch. So my advice to everyone is yes, dream big and have some lofty goals that you may not exceed, but you have to be realistic. So keep one foot planted on the ground and one foot up in the clouds, because if you have 2 feet in the clouds, you won't succeed.
Definitely. And Mr. Jeff, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please to
Mhm.
listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as
Ooh,
well. I'm inviting you to be my guest on Food 101. Now, Mr.
I would
Jeff,
love to.
yes, please do
We could
come
talk
over.
about wine pairings and how
Yeah,
you match food with wine.
definitely. Yeah. And Geography 101 in fourth season, and my Law 101 and Mental Health 101 are my baby
Oh,
podcasts.
nice.
Love
Ooh,
Letters in the third season, and Movie 101 Review Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season.
ooh.
Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Mr. Jeff, authentic leaders model genuineness for others and earn trust and loyalty. What advice would you offer to leaders who want to cultivate authenticity within their teams and organizations?
That's easy. I would say lead by example. So don't be a leader who just shouts and points at their employees and to try to get the job done. Get Do it with them. Do the job with them and show them how you want it to be done, how it should be done. But form a team because you need teamwork, you need trust with your employees, and you need to lead by example. And if you lead by example, all of your employees will follow you. And that is as authentic as it can be.
Yes, indeed. So, Mr. Jeff, if we compare your wine being authentic, which will be you can compare?
I think, like I said, wine being authentic is, there's all of these books on how to pair, and you have a Food 101 podcast, how to, pair food with wine. And I say, don't worry about that. Don't get stuck in the nuances about, oh, what is the aroma? What does it smell like? Drink what you like, and the rest will follow. If you don't enjoy a wine, it's okay. You don't have to enjoy it. You know, find a wine that you do enjoy and drink that wine.
Yes, Mr. Jeff Gillis. Thank you so much for
Oh,
sharing your
thank you.
knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your business, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Sure. First, thank you so much for inviting me on this podcast, Danielle. I enjoyed it. And of course, I have a wine app. So you can go into the Android store, the Google Play Store, or the iOS Apple Store and just search Wine Likes and you'll find the Wine Likes app. And then I'm also on Instagram at the Wine Likes app as well. So you can find me there. So just download the app and you can contact me there.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Jeff Gillis because if you support him, for sure, more and more empowering apps to come, more and
Thank
more
you.
empowering teaching to come. So, Mr. Jeff, thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you. My pleasure. Thank you so much, Danielle.
More to come, people. See you soon.